Hey you guys, welcome back to the horror with your host with the most, Jenna. Um, actually no, not really quite the host with the most. But whatevs. Welcome back though, welcome back. I know it's been a few days since I've done a video. Um, honestly, I don't even have an excuse of why I haven't done a video in quite a few days. I think it's just because I wasn't sure what I really wanted to talk about or anything, what I wanted to discuss. So today, what I almost started, or what I almost did was, by the way, I'm scratching my foot right now, not like my butt or anything, swear to God. Anyway, what I was almost going to, talk about today was Halloween 6, the theatrical cut and the producer's cut, but I don't know, I feel like I've already done a couple of Halloween movies. I definitely do want to talk about more of like the franchises and everything, like Halloween, Friday 13th and stuff. But I just don't want to do them all at once because I feel like that might be an overabundance for you guys. So instead, I decided to talk about another movie that I feel like, at least with people like within my age group, like around my age and stuff, probably have come across this, may have seen it like, you know, once or twice, like way back in the day. I don't know how many people like are aware of it now, like, you know, people who might be younger. Like I think of like my oldest niece, like she's 21. Like people around her age group, I don't know how many people would really know this movie, but it's certainly one that I love the most. I almost said I love the most. I don't love it the most, but I do generally enjoy this movie. And that movie is The Craft. Of course, it's going to state in my title for this video, The Craft from 1996. Starring Fruze Bulk, Rachel Tunney, Neve Campbell, and Rachel True. Sorry, I always forget the fourth actress's name. I know she's been in quite a few things, um, but yeah, like I said, this came out in 96, so I was like 12 when this came out. Instantly fell in love with it. I know it's not like necessarily like at least to me, once again, I know it's, because I watch so many horror movies, not necessarily like scary or anything, at least in my opinion. But definitely falls within like that horror category and everything. But fun little movie and a very, very 90s. Like I feel like, in a lot of ways where people might see a movie from the 80s and they're like, "Oh my god, that's so 80s." This right here, very 90s. I do. I mean, just look at the way that these ladies are dressed as we're getting a glare from my computer. But like just stuff like that, like the style and everything with like the knee-high socks, the boots, the skirts and everything, the suspenders. So 90s. But nothing wrong with that. I mean, I honestly like, I have to admit, I kind of like that style. Like I almost kind of wish, I don't even know if this style has really come back or anything, but this is a style that I would love to like have come back, like dress style come back. I don't know. I've always had like a little bit of a soft spot for it. Maybe because I feel like I can't really pull off this dress, or this attire, and I wish I could, but I like it. I'll admit, I know it sounds kind of like dorkish of me to say, but I like that style. Anyway, more about the movie, not about the clothes. So basically, just a little quick run through. Basically, what this is the new girl played by Robin Tunney. Sorry, I think I called her Rachel Tunney at first. Robin Tunney. I was gonna say, I'm like, that doesn't seem right when I first said it. Robin Tunney. Sorry, please do not give me the hate on messing up her name. You guys know how I am. So Robin Tunney's character, her father and her stepmom, move across town and stuff. She's a new girl in school and everything, and then she runs into the other three girls, Fruze Bulk, Neve Campbell, and Rachel True, who are these kind of like misfit girls, very like, kind of like these very, very outcast, not even kind of, they're these outcasts. Their whole thing is, they kind of like brought them together is, at least the three girls were like the witchcraft, and those kind of their thing. That was kind of like their thing that they took to and everything. Were really into it, and here comes Robin Tunney's character, and she's a we find out that she's like a natural witch and everything. Like her mom was a witch and stuff, and it kind of was passed down to her and everything. And so they kind of befriend this new girl, invite her into the group. She's the fourth one and everything, so they can like complete all these spells and everything. And it just I don't know. It's a decent little movie. Like I said, it's not like the best movie or anything, but to me, I feel like it's a decently done movie. It's definitely like more of like a chick horror movie, I would say. Like I don't know too many guys who are necessarily into this. Like I know there's guys who are into this movie, but I definitely feel like this falls into the category of like I said, the chick horror movie. Because us chicks like to have the horror movies too. You guys all know I love like not necessarily like the chick horror movies, but I'm more into like Friday 13th, Sleepaway Camp, Return of the Living Dead, stuff like that. But I will admit, this is like a good chick horror movie. And like I said, not the scariest movie, but, like I'm thinking of a couple of people who are not necessarily like into horror movies or kind of stay away from horror movies because of like bad experiences. This is one where I think a lot of people would be able to watch and be able to kind of tolerate and be like, and kind of get into it, some good girl power stuff. But I have to say though, just real quick before I get more into it, it always cracks me up because Fairuza Balk, who's been in a ton of stuff, she was actually a child actor. I don't know how many of you guys know that, but she was like a child actor. I know she was in like Return to Oz, which is like a pretty weird movie. I don't know if I've seen the entire movie, but I think I've seen most of that movie. It's a weird movie. I don't know. But literally like 10 years before she did this movie, she was in another like witch movie. A movie, and this is another one. I don't know how many people have ever heard of this movie. I know that this was like initially like a book series, and I think like mid to late 90s to early 2000s, HBO even actually had like its own little like TV series out of this. But she was in the TV movie The Worst Witch, and I will admit, like, this is like one of the worst movies ever. But I used to heavily watch this a lot when I was a kid, mainly because I liked Fairuza Balk. That is Fairuza Balk on the cover here, right here. Very young. I think she was like 10 or something at the time. And also the fact that right down here we got Mr. Tim Curry. You all know I love Tim Curry. I'm in love with that man. Not literally like in love with that man. Like I don't want to like make out with him or anything, but just I enjoy his work. You guys know I really enjoy his work. So that's because it was such a childhood favorite of mine. I own this on DVD. Like I said, very cheesy movie, but I love it. But anyway, just wanted to share that because I think it cracks me up that she was in two different like witch movies. One of which, this one being like such a kooky little childish one. And then, like, The Craft, where it's actually, like, all that stuff in there that they say about witchcraft and everything, and, like, any spell you cast out comes back 2 times 3. Like, all that stuff's real, very true. A lot of their spells that they did in there were actual spells, so they had to be really careful about, like, casting these spells out and everything. Like, I know Fairuza Balk, I don't know if she's still practicing, but I know she was, like pagan at the time, or Wicca, or into Wicca at the time. So, she was very knowledgeable and was able to kind of, like, go through some of the spells, make sure, like, things were done appropriate, not to disrespect the religion or, like, Mother Earth or anything, nature or anything. And I think there was also another, pagan or Wiccan on set to just advise like a Wiccan priest or something, just to like make sure, like tech to supervise, just to once again make sure everyone's safe. No like disrespect to like nature or anything. So a little side note on that, like so like all that stuff is really real. And I think even some of this stuff, like, because I think there's stuff like that might be like written on like walls and stuff in like the bookstore and stuff. That's also actually like very real. It's not like made up like film stuff that they're just like, oh, this is kooky, this is witchy. Like that was real stuff. So I'm just saying like this movie did not really mess around. And I think even in one of the scenes, I think when they were at the beach, like calling the coroners, I think some like stuff was kind of going on, like some weird stuff because they were, once again casting out actual spells. So some of the stuff like kind of started happening a little bit. So they were like, okay, wait, we gotta like reverse this and make everything calm again. So, just saying. But yeah, so this movie, like I said, it's a good little like chick horror movie. A very, very like teenage-ish. Like I've realized that as I've gotten older, whenever I watch this movie, I'm like, it's so teeny bopper-ish. But you know what? A lot of horror movies are geared toward teens. Like Friday 13th and stuff, classics like that. So I mean, I'm not gonna knock it for that. Like I said, I enjoy this movie a lot. And I like, I like how, like, in the movie, because it's, like, the lesson is, like, they're doing all this stuff to, like, get revenge, get what they want, and then towards the end, they realize, like, oh my god, like, everything started coming back times 3 to them, and, like, or at least with, like, the 3 core girls, Nev Campbell, Rachel True, and Fruze Balk, like, because they're very, like, selfish about using their magic and very, like, using it for themselves to, benefit themselves and not necessarily as, like, a whole of the group or anything like that, or, like, using their powers for good, definitely comes back to bite them in the ass and everything, and really, like, teaches them a lesson. And then, you have Robin Tunney's character who, new girl, once again, is very kind of like unsure, and she's just, truly like, a good girl who's just kind of going through some hard stuff. Like, you could tell she's still like, even though like her mom had passed away, like as she was giving birth to her, that she's, you could tell there's a lot of like things that she's holding inside from that, a lot of resentment, a lot of like, you feel like anger, because she, doesn't have her mom. She feels responsible for killing her mom and stuff. But I think because of that, she, doesn't do quite as many, like, selfish things. There's a few things she does, like the guy that she kind of gets even with because, he spread, some bad rumors about her, like, oh, she had sex, she was horrible, blah, 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 and it's like none of that happened. And then she does a little spell of, like, to make him, like her, and then it's, like, always following him around and everything, and then, guy ends up dying because, Fruze Balk's character, Nancy, gets jealous, and it's like, okay, wait, her spells seem to always work out in her favor, and she's now getting this guy, Chris, and, does a little revenge and ends up killing him by, like, having him, like, literally, like, pushing him, she didn't even, like, touch him or anything, but, like, she was, like, dragging herself towards him, so he fell off the balcony, and it's just, like, things like that, where it's, like, like, these girls are very selfish in that way, where it's, like, oh, I see this one, her stuff's coming true, she's kind of getting what she wants, I'm gonna do one better and get what I want and get revenge at the same time. So, but yeah, she's, like I said, Robin Tunney's character, much more like kind of down to earth a little bit. Just, she's just, trying to find herself. She's in a new place. New girls who seem to really be into this and kind of know what they're doing. And she, she's always, you do kind of get a sense that she's kind of always known that she's been a little bit different. Like, she can kind of make things happen. And, now that she sees meets these girls who are into this, okay, they're going to accept me, they're accepting me into their group, and they do this stuff, and I can kind of, like, practice more of doing this stuff. So, she can, practice this stuff and, not be judged, not be, like, outcast or anything. So, because she's already with the outcasts. And then, of course, they kind of become, like, these really popular girls because, like, they're getting all the stuff that they want, like Neve Campbell's character. Um, like, she had, like, bad burns and everything on her back, and those ended up going away because of, like, the spell that the girls did on her. So she becomes like, oh, this, like, pretty girl, and all the guys are like, oh, so stuff like that, where it's like, like, a lot of the vanity and just, like, looks and everything that at the time, like, at that age, looks are very important for a teenager. And you kind of, like, forget, it's easy for a teenager to forget that there's more to life than that, and there's more to life than just getting what you want. So, but yeah, like I said, it's, I know it's a little chick flick, little chick horror flick, but I enjoy it. If you guys haven't, watched this movie, I would say check this one out, like, of the, because I know there's quite a few, movies kind of similar to this, where it's, like, a bunch of, like, girls, like, I think there's one called The Coven, which, has Jennifer Rubins in, it's, like, that one was okay, but I feel like it was just trying to be another, The Craft in a lot of ways. I know there's some out there that were kind of like direct ripoffs of this that are pretty decent, but a lot of at least ones that I've seen, I'm like, not as good. Definitely check this one out. I would say, it's worth. I'd say it's worth at least, a viewing. Like I said, it's a fun little movie, and it's so, like, 90s-ish. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this movie, for those of you who have seen it. Give me your thoughts on it, whether you liked it or didn't like it, because you guys know, like, if you guys don't like something, let me know. Like, I'm not going to judge you, I'm not going to troll you on it. Let me know if you didn't like it. But yeah, that's my little take on The Craft. I might actually pop this in tonight after Raw, because I think the last time I watched this was back in October. Gotta watch it again. But yeah, check it out. And also, too, speaking of this movie, because I was saying it's, like, very 90s, but I have to say that this actually has a pretty decent soundtrack to it. Does this even have, like, its own little soundtrack that was released? I don't even know, but whatever soundtrack they have in this movie, like, some of the songs that they have in this movie, really like it. I'm gonna have to check that out and see if I can, like, get it on CD or vinyl or something, But yeah, like I said, decent movie. I enjoyed it, a bit teenish, a bit teenage girlish, but it's decent. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. And, just so you guys know, too, like, if you guys ever want me to talk about something or have, like, suggestions, let me know. Give me a little, comment in the comment section, or, private message me, whatever. If you do, I will let you know right away if I've ever seen the movie or not, or seen whatever. And if I haven't, give me, a little bit of time to, like, watch the movie, find out where I can watch and stuff. So, but yeah, just saying. But until then, you guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do a little comment. Alright, give me a little feedback. Till then, you guys, till next time, which I maybe will do Halloween 6, I'm not sure. You guys stay creepy and classy as always.